Shri Guru Ve Namaha. Guru Vavishta Sabhubhakam, Guru Vine Assista Sambhushikam, Chincha Samastabe Nepranam Shirupakam Hantam. Govinda Vidam Ujwalam Veratanam Bhakti Avatam Sundaram Bande Vishnu Guru Sija. Vadavat Premai Vijapatam. Devam Devisnam Suchandravandhanam Valaika Chalansitam Sundaranam Param Sarikavanam Ragavijam Vidam. Sri Siddhanta Nidam Sabhaktilasakam Sarvatam Varam. Vandetam Sabhadmarika Saranam Nishram Sridaram. Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Guriya Gurva Ambe. Vanto Bano Rava Pabhatnagani Gura Sankitane. Mahavatam Gala Daragatam Ujyaji Vaniman. Krishna Prem Tahabdi Kahan Shakam Kahan Sambhadi. Namo Mahavaranaya Krishna Prem Tahabdi Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namadi Guru Tisha Maha. Vanchigalpa Chuvyascha, Kripasindu Evacha, Patitanam Bhaktanamevyo, Vaishnavevyo, Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. I'm going to read something from the Bhagavad Gita, and it's just under 2 weeks till Janmashtami. It's on the 4th, or we have it on the 5th. 5th and 6th, so Prabhupada on the 6th. So it's only 2 weeks away. I'm going to read a verse from chapter 4, which is related to Janmashtami. Chapter 4, verse 9. In this chapter, Krishna is giving a lot of information to Arjuna. He says, whenever there's a decline of religion, uprising of religion, I make my event to set things right. I appear to rescue the devotees and annihilate the miscreants, rid of them. And then he says, the verse that we're going to read tonight, he says, Jam Makama Chami Devyam Evam Yo Viti Tadvataha Tafadaha Punajama Noiti Mamiti Sarjana. And the translation is, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activity does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but obtains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Purport. The Lord's descent from his transcendental abode is already explained in the 6th verse. One who can understand the truth of the appearance of the personality of Godhead is already liberated from material bondage, and therefore he returns to the kingdom of God immediately after quitting this present material body. Such liberation of the living entity from material bondage is not at all easy. The impersonalists and the yogis obtain liberation only after much trouble and many, many births. Even then, the liberation they achieve merging into the impersonal Brahmajyoti of the Lord is only partial, and there is a risk of returning again to this material world. But the devotee, simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the body and activities of the Lord, obtains the abode of the Lord after ending this body and does not run the risk of returning again to this material world. In Brahma Samhita it is stated that the Lord has many, many forms and incarnations, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadam, Ananta Rupam. Although there are many transcendental forms of the Lord, they are still one and the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. One has to understand this fact with conviction, although it is incomprehensible to the mundane scholars and empiric philosophers, as stated in the Vedas. Eko Deva Nitya Lila Nurakto Bhakta Vapi Kriti Antaratma. The one Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternally engaged in many, many transcendental forms in relationships with his unalloyed devotees. This Vedic version is confirmed in this verse of the Gita personally by the Lord, he who accepts this truth on the strength of the authority of the Vedas and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who does not waste time in philosophical speculation, obtains the highest perfectional stage of liberation. Simply by accepting this truth on faith, one can, without a doubt, obtain liberation. The Vedic version Tatvamasi is actually applied in this case. Anyone who understands Lord Krishna to be the Supreme, or who says unto the Lord, you are the same Supreme Brahman, the Personality Godhead, is certainly liberated instantly, and consequently his entrance into the transcendental association of the Lord is guaranteed. In other words, such a faithful devotee of the Lord obtains perfection, and this is confirmed in the following Vedic assertion. Tam eva vidibhatim yometi naya patha vijite avanaya. One can obtain the perfection, one can obtain the perfect stage of liberation from birth and death simply by knowing the Lord, the Supreme Personality Godhead. There is no alternative, because anyone who does not understand Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality Godhead is surely in the mode of ignorance. Consequently, he will not obtain salvation. Simply, so to speak, by licking the outer surface of the bottle of honey, or by interpreting the Bhagavad Gita according to mundane scholarship, such empiric philosophers may assume very important roles in the material world, but they are not necessarily eligible for liberation. Such puffed up mundane scholars have to wait for the causeless mercy of the devotee of the Lord. One should therefore cultivate Krishna consciousness with faith and knowledge, and in this way obtain perfection. The Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Song of the Supreme Lord Himself. You are the bestower of Arjuna's enlightenment. You've been woven into the scripture Mahabharata by the ancient sage Sri Vasudeva in 18 chapters. You are the rain of overflowing nectar, non different from the Lord. A mother, we meditate upon you. May you graciously enter our hearts. So, to understand the transcendental appearance and activities of the Lord, upon leaving this body, you won't take birth in this material world again. So, understanding something, even this material world, it's usually by hearing. We usually have to hear, and then we can start to understand through the ear. In the Vedas, it's never sort of mentioned by seeing this, it's always by hearing. The ear is the most important of all the senses for this reason, that we have an ear to hear about Krishna consciousness. Of course, the ear can be used for so many other things, but the specific purpose of the ear, and the reason that Krishna gave us these ears, is to hear about Him. And Rupa Goswami, he said, I need millions of ears, and that sweet name of Krishna enters my ears. I need millions of ears to actually appreciate that whole beautiful smoke of tongues and ears and vibrate the name of Krishna. So it is possible to know and even to come to love somebody by hearing about them and without even meeting them. And the perfect example of this is Rukmini, one of Krishna's principal queens, Rukmini. And she hadn't never met Krishna, but she had heard about Krishna. And she had heard about Krishna, and she decided she wanted Krishna for her husband, because her situation was that her brother Rukmi was very good friends with Sisupal, and he wanted that she marry Sisupal. But she didn't want to marry Sisupal, she wanted to be with Krishna. She's a very intelligent person. So she wrote Krishna's famous letter, very famous in the Gaudiya tradition, this letter, and in that letter she mentioned to Krishna, please come and kidnap me before Sisupal, like a jackal, touches the lion's prey. And then she gave that letter to a Brahmin, and he delivered that to Krishna. And Krishna mercifully came, and he kidnapped her. Of course, her brother Rukmi and Sisupal, they weren't too impressed. So there was a fight put up. But this is a Kshatriya way, and it's a Kshatriya way of marriage, that kidnapping and fighting is a Kshatriya way. So Krishna took Rukmini, and she was one of his principal queens in the Walker. So that was by hearing. She only heard about Krishna. Similarly, so that ear, her ear was put to perfect use. So similarly, Maharaj Ambarish, he was the emperor of the whole world, and he used all of his senses, not only his ear, but he used his ear for hearing about Krishna. He used his tongue for glorifying Krishna and the devotees. He used his hands for cleaning the temple of the Lord and touching the devotees. He used his legs for walking to the temple. He used his tongue for tasting prasad, talking about Krishna. His eyes for seeing the deity. So he used all his senses in that way. And at Maharaj Ambarish is the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, very famous personality. And Devasa Muni came to test him. Devasa Muni has quite a reputation. He's a partial incarnation of Lord Shiva. So he is very easily pleased, but he's also very easily angered, displeased. So he turned up, and he tested many devotees. There's so many stories about Devasa Muni. So he turned up at Ambarish's place, and it was a codicil. So Ambarish asked him, please go and take bath, and then when you come back I'll have everything prepared. And Devasa Muni knew that the time for Param, for breaking a codicil, was getting very close. So he wanted to test Ambarish Maharaj. So he didn't come back in time to break a codicil. And this is a very important part of a codicil, is the Param, the breaking of a codicil. This is what you always see on the calendar. Must be done between a certain time, say 6 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock. There's usually a few hours that you can break your fast, your codicil fast, by taking some grains. Or if you're completely fasting, just taking some water. If you're doing nirja, or just taking some water. So Ambarish is waiting for Devasa Muni to come back. But Ambarish is the perfect host in every way. And he's realising, okay, well, time to break the codicil is coming. So in consultation with the Brahmins, they said, okay, well, because you have a guest, you can't take solid food, you can't break your codicil, so therefore take a sip of water, and that is neither breaking it nor not breaking it. So it can be considered breaking a codicil. They said like that. So he did that. He took a sip of water, and then, because Devasa Muni is powerful, Rishi, powerful Muni, he knew, and he enraged. Don't know who I am, sort of thing. Great Devasa. So he came back to Ambarish, and he chastised him, and he was very angry. And this is one aspect of Devasa Muni. He has a full-on temper. So he was like, this fire demon with the tip of his hair, just manifest this demon. Ambarish Maharaj is an amazingly great devotee of the Lord. So immediately the Sudarsana came, and Devasa Muni is like, so the disc is chasing Devasa Muni. He's running all over the universe to try and get away from the Sudarsana disc. The whole time Ambarish Maharaj is just standing there thinking, please Lord, if I ever have any pious merits, please don't let my guests take offence at this. And he's feeling very bad because Devasa Muni is his guest, and he's being chased all over the universe by the Sudarsana disc. So Ambarish Maharaj is just standing there praying to the Lord. And of course this is going on, and he's running all over the universe. This is taking a year. This is taking one full year to happen, because he's all over the universe. He goes to Lord Shiva, He goes, no, sorry, he goes to Lord Indra. Lord Indra's like, I can't help you. This is the pseudoscience disc from Lord Vishnu. I can't help you. So he goes to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva says the same thing. Sorry, I cannot do anything. This is Lord Vishnu's disc, pseudoscience disc. It's his personal weapon. I can't do anything. Then he goes to Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, the most powerful. Well, Lord Shiva is actually the most powerful personality in the universe, but Lord Brahma is like in charge of the motor passion and creation. He is very powerful. Lord Brahma says the same thing. I cannot do anything, but he advises him the best thing you can do is to go to Lord Vishnu and surrender there, because it's his pseudoscience disc. So he goes to Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu says to him, Aham Bhakta Prajano, He Ashvatantra Eva Dvija Sarubhya Prasta Hridayo, Bhakti Bhakta Jana Priya. I'm completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I have no independence of my own. My devotees, because my devotees are completely free from all desire for material enjoyment. I sit in the core of their heart. I sit in the core of their heart. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotees are very dear to me. So Lord Vishnu said, you must go back to Ambarish and get his forgiveness. If he forgives you, then okay. But I'm, like I said, I'm completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I have no independence of my own, because my devotees sit always within the core of my heart. Because my devotees come in. Hello. Have you been here before?
The first time.
It's your first time? Okay, we'll have a seat. Have you heard of Srimad Bhagavad Gita? This is like our scripture, Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita, yeah. You know it? You're familiar with it?
Will you tell me a little bit more about that?
Okay, well, we're reading one verse from there, and Divasa, you'll have to go back to Ambarish and get his forgiveness, because I said, I'm completely under the control of my devotees. I have no independence of my own. So go back to Ambarish. So Divasa Muni did. And Ambarish had been such a great soul. He'd been standing there for like a year. Then Divasa comes back. Have a seat, Divasa. And I'm just going to read the English of this verse that we're talking about just now. So this is the verse that we're discussing. This is the English. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activity does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but obtains my eternal abode, Arjuna. Meaning eternal abode means the spiritual world where Krishna's. So Krishna's birth is not like our birth, like this rising and setting of the sun. The sun doesn't really rise. I mean, we see the sun come over the horizon, and we see the sun go down over the horizon. So we say, well, the sun's risen and the sun's set. But, somewhere else in the world, it's rising and it's setting, and so it's always there. So Krishna's birth and death is like that. It's not, Krishna doesn't die when he leaves and Krishna is not actually born. He appears and he seems to disappear. They call it manifest and unmanifest. Just now he's unmanifest to us. But 5,000 years ago he was here on this planet. He was manifest. He was here for 125 years. So you're not familiar with this philosophy at all? No. So you just decided to pop in and see what's happening? You're interested. Okay.
I learned about different philosophies. Yeah. and
Okay, well,
interesting.
no, you picked a
Some-
great time to come, Sunday, yeah. So,
Yeah, she heard from one of her friend.
sorry?
Yes.
She heard from her friend.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, this is the way, see, we were just talking about this hearing, this ear is the most important of all the senses. Is that here, like it says here, one who knows the transcendental nature of it. So to know something, we need to hear. No matter what it is, material, spiritual, everything, we need to hear. So as in the material world, hearing is very important. So in spiritual topics, hearing is recommended. So there's 9 processes of devotion. We're devotees of Lord Krishna. So there's 9 processes that we can serve Lord Krishna. And hearing is the very first one. Hearing, then there's chanting, then there's remembering, then there's praying, then there's serving. So many different things. So there's 9. And that can expand into Rupa Goswami says 64 and then infinitum thing. So Krishna is known as Krishnera Yaktika. This is Sanskrit verse coming from one of our scriptures in the discussion is there, and he's saying Krishnera Yaktika Kela Savatama Narada Naravakusara Sarup Gopavesh Vainaka Navakishore Natava Naralila Hoyana Rup Krishnera Madhuri Rup Sanasanatan Rupa Ekakan Dubaya Sabhachi Bhuvana. And this, the English for this is the highest form of Godhead is Krishna, who plays in his eternal divine pastimes like a human being, an ever youthful cowherd boy of Vrindavan, the best of dancers. He enjoys his pastimes, always playing his flute. His beauty is so charming and sweet that the whole universe is flooded by even an atomic particle of it, and all beings are attracted irresistibly to him. So this is all this philosophy and everything is to attract us to Krishna, because we're sitting here in this material world, we're thinking, I'm thinking I'm in New Zealand, I'm this body, I'm in New Zealand, I'm away, I'm this, I'm that, or somebody's thinking I'm a Christian, or I'm a Hindu, or I'm a Buddhist, or I'm an American, Indian, whatever. But they're all bodily designations. They're all to do with the body. They're not to do with the soul. The soul's not New Zealand, American, African, Jew, any of those things. The soul's not a Buddhist, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian. The soul is none of these things. The soul is an eternal servant of Lord Krishna. But having forgotten this, and having turned away from Krishna, we've come to this material world and it's called separate interest, because we have one interest, and our one interest should be to serve the Lord, to serve God, to serve Krishna. Krishna is a name of God. God has many, many, many names. There's one God. He has many names. So Krishna is the name of God, which means the all-attractive one. But to be God, one must be all-attractive. One must be full of the 6 opulences: wealth, beauty, fame, strength, knowledge, and renunciation. So these 6, Krishna has in full. In the material world, we have these qualities and qualifications, but we have them in minute doses. We might have a little bit of strength, a little bit of fame, a little bit of beauty. It's because these are what everybody is craving for. Everybody's chasing around, everybody's running around, chooks with their headless chickens running around looking for these things. This is what this whole world is motivating. This whole world is to become wealthy, to become rich, to become beautiful, to become intelligent, to become all these things. People want that. That's what they want in this material world. What we say, we want to be the servants of Lord Krishna, and he has these opulences in full. So he can give whatever to anybody. He can give these opulences. He can give wealth. He can give beauty. He can give strength. Because the bottom line is, we're not this body. So what are we? We're a spirit soul. We're spirit, and the spirit soul is part and parcel of Krishna, like the sun is part and parcel of, the sunshine is part and parcel of the sun. Without the sun there's no sunshine, but also without the sunshine there's no sun. So the sunshine is coming to this world, but it's not its home, but it's coming here. So we're coming to this world. It's not our home, but we're coming here. So we are minute, and it's given in the scriptures, the size of the spirit soul, which is living within the heart, within this body, and motivating this body. If the soul is not there, then the body is called dead. So this is what happens at the time of death. The soul leaves the body, and the body is called dead. And that soul is not possible to be seen because it is 1/10,000th the size of the tip of a hair. So that means if you take the tip of, I haven't got much here, but if you take the tip of your hair, divide it 100 times, and then take one of those pieces and divide that 100 times, this is the size of the soul. And it's not possible to see something that small, to weigh it, to see it, even under whatever equipment they have, they still can't see it. Right. So this is who we are, but we've taken on this body, and in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it describes the transmigration of the soul. And Krishna has actually given very simple analogies as to, so we can understand, like he's saying, Dinosmin Jatadehe, talking about how the soul comes in the womb, into the womb of his mother, grows a body in there, comes out as a baby, grows into a boy or a girl, into childhood to youth, to middle age, to older age, to being old, and then finally to dying, and then taking another body. So the repetition of birth and death is going on, one after another. Krishna also says, Jayate Mrita Vakatachin, which means that the soul is never born nor dies, is never created, nor will be created, because it is unborn and eternal. It is ever youthful yet ancient. It is not destroyed when the body is destroyed. I mean, it's not destroyed when the body is destroyed. The body and the soul are two different factors. The body is matter, material. The soul is spirit. But when the soul, without the soul, the body can't operate. So the dead matter is impregnated with spirit, which brings it to life. This is what activates matter, is this, the presence of the spirit within matter. Otherwise, it would just be nothing happening. So we need to understand who we are, and by understanding who Krishna is, we will understand who we are. It's like, by knowing one thing, everything is known. What is that? By getting one thing, everything is got. By understanding, by knowing Krishna, then we will know everything, because all knowledge is coming from Krishna. And when we have a desire, an inclination to serve Krishna, then everything is provided. Everything comes to us. When we have a pure, unmotivated desire to serve and to get to know Krishna, then everything is open to us. That doorway opens, which has been closed. That door has been closed. But when our attitude comes to desiring to understand what's going on, what's happening with me, what's happening with the world, then Krishna provides the information. And what will happen if somebody is sincerely wanting to understand the philosophy of God, then from within the heart, so what happens is, by the mercy of Krishna, one comes in contact with the spiritual master. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one gets Krishna. So, by the mercy of Krishna, one gets the spiritual master. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one gets Krishna, because the spiritual master is someone who has full spiritual knowledge. These people still exist in this world, very, very few of them, but it said that so they are called sadhus, and I have to tell you that on the 12th of next month, 12th of September, there's one coming here from India, and his name is Vanamara. You might see the posters around town, there'll be posters put up, but he will be here for one night, and he is such a sadhu. Really, really worth you or anybody you know who might be interested in Krishna consciousness and might want to get a deeper understanding of it, to come and see him. He's been here before. He was here this time last year, and he is an amazing personality. For the last 30 years or 28 years, so he's been travelling the world, pretty well non-stop, just travelling the world and preaching about Krishna consciousness. He's a great personality. Anyway, that's just a side note you might like to think about. So Krishna is very, very merciful. Krishna is our mother, Krishna is our father, Krishna is the treasure of our life. So Krishna says, why did you stay away? Why have you been living away from home for so long? How is it possible for you? How could you bear my separation? You left me and you've been spending lifetimes after lifetimes without me. Still, I know what trouble you took to return to me. You went to beg from door to door. You were chastised by many. You were ridiculed by many. You shed tears for me. I know all these things because I was with you. Because Krishna is also the super soul, and every spirit soul is accompanied by the super soul. So the spirit soul is living within the heart of the body, but he's not alone. The super soul is also there. And this super soul is a manifestation of Krishna, who is called Paramatma. This is a witness. He's a witness, and it's considered to be like two birds in a tree. So there's two birds sitting in the tree. One bird is eating the fruit, looking to enjoy the fruit, looking around, what can I do? How can I enjoy this? The other bird is just waiting for his friend to turn to him. This is the Paramatma, this is the super soul. He's not interested in trying to enjoy the material world, but we are. But when we begin to wake up a little bit, we realise that the contact of the senses with their objects is the cause of unhappiness, as they are transient. The wise never delight in such pleasures, and this is also in the Bhagavad Gita, this verse. The wise never delight in these pleasures because they know this is the cause of unhappiness, because sense gratification is what is binding us to this material world. And if we ever want to get out of this material world, not so many people do. But, you know, how many millions and billions of people live in this material world? There's not very many who are interested in spiritual life. And in the Bhagavad Gita, see, everything is given in this Bhagavad Gita, and there are some here for sale if you're interested in getting one. In this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving all the information, and I mean, it's not actually so easy And Krishna says, that after many births, one who is fortunate will want to know about, will want to know, will want to understand, will want to get some knowledge of what is actually going on. So after many births, one who is in, I can't remember that verse, but it's not a quick process. Bhakti Siddhanta says to reach the shore of the material ocean is a gradual process. Can take time, can take more than one lifetime. If one is very serious and spends his whole life engaged in service to Krishna and service to the spiritual master, then that can happen very quickly. But generally, we're interested in satisfying the senses and not so much satisfying the Lord. So if we want to go to the spiritual world, the qualification is the satisfaction of Krishna. This is what's happening in the spiritual world. But by satisfying Krishna, we become doubly satisfied. It's like that. By giving, we get. Like that. By giving, you will get. By taking, well, it's giving. It's giving yourself. So some sacrifice, this life was meant for sacrifice, for some austerity. So we chant this Hare Krishna mantra, and 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya, who is an incarnation of Krishna for this age is known as Kali Yuga. In this age of Kali, it's the dark age of the universe. You might have heard of that, Kali Yuga. It's the dark age of the universe. The universe has 4 ages, like the seasons of the year. So this is a very difficult age, but because it's so difficult, it's very powerful medicine has been brought out. And that, Lord Chaitanya said, Chaito Darpan Marjanam, that this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra cleanses the mirror of the heart. The heart is a very important part of the body. This is the heart and the mind are pretty much the same. So it cleanses the mirror of the heart, extinguishes the fire of misery and the forest of birth and death. So by chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we can actually purify ourselves and become eligible, because in our condition now, we are involved in all this separate interest. We're interested in our own satisfaction, our own enjoyment. Not so much in enjoyment, not so much in Krishna. So, of course, when we do become interested in Krishna, then Krishna helps us. It's not that we have to do it all on our own. He said that if I take one step towards Krishna, he takes 10 towards me. As soon as I wake up, it's like we've been sleeping in the lap of the witch Maya. Maya is a material energy and Maya means that which is not. So this energy in this world is called Maya, and it's presenting something, but it's perverted. It's not. It's an illusion. An illusion doesn't mean that it's not. An illusion is real. It just means it's not what it appears to be. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. This world exists, but it's not what it appears to be, and it can't give us fulfillment. It can't give us what we really want, which is happiness, eternal happiness. And that's what the soul is. This is why everybody wants to be happy. Nobody wants to die, because the soul is eternal. The soul is Ananda. The soul is eternally, happily, and blissful. But just now, we're covered over. We're covered over by this material energy. So we need to purify our senses. We need to purify our existence. And Lord Chaitanya came 500 years ago with this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is the main purifying agent for this age. This is called the Yuga Dharma, which means the religious process for this age is this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So by chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become purified of all material washes of dirt. they say it washes, cleanses the heart of all the dirt accumulated for millions and millions of births. So we've been here for a long time. Don't really want to get out of this world. We've been here for so long. But Lord Chaitanya is saying, no, wake up, spirit soul. You've been sleeping in the lap of the witch Maya for too long. Don't waste your nights uselessly sleeping and your days decorating the body. Chant the names of Lord Hari. Wake up. So that's what this movement is trying to do, and that's why Srila Prabhupada, this is Srila Prabhupada here, he's the Acharya of the ISKCON movement. He started this movement in 1965 in New York City. He came from India to America at the age of 70 on a steamship. I mean, you'd have to read a novel to that. Doesn't really happen. And he suffered 2 heart attacks on the way. But he's a dedicated, pure devotee of the Lord, and he was acting on the instructions of this spiritual master. So he came to New York City. New York City is the greatest city in the world. That's where I'll go, and that's where I'll start this movement. And for the first year he was there, he didn't really have any success, but he persevered. And you can see what's happened. The Hare Krishna movement has spread all over the world. They call it the Hare Krishna explosion. And it spread very quickly. And Srila Prabhupada was in the West. He preached in the West for 12 years, 10 years, 12 years. And he was very successful. He left the world in 1977. And of course then, and here's an Acharya. Acharya means one who teaches by example. More Acharyas come out of India after Srila Prabhupada and have carried on his preaching and carried on the mission under different names. This Hare Krishna movement doesn't just mean ISKCON. There are many Gaudiya Math, many other missions that are preaching in the West now. But ISKCON was the first mission to come out of India and preach in the West. So I'm not going to talk for very long. What should we do next? Well, do you have any questions? Is there anything you'd like to know?
I wanted to ask about the cycle of samsara. Why in 2500?
Why is what?
Why 2500 lives we need to live? Why is the cycle of samsara? It's 2500? Or it is an undefined time when we come to live and we need to come to lives? It's not defined?
Okay, so samsara is a cycle of birth and death.
Yes.
And you know, we're like, there's like, samsara dava nandi loka. It's like a forest fire, and we're running diver and diver trying to get out of this forest fire. But samsara will go on and on. It's a cycle. Everything is cycle. This samsara will go on and on. It's not limited to a certain amount of births. We have been here since time immemorial. So some people say millions of births we've been here for, and millions to go. Until you've come here and you're interested in spiritual life. So your spiritual life is beginning, and now gradually you can attempt to get out of this cycle of birth and death, this samsara. In this age, because we're in this age, the way to get out of the cycle of samsara is to chant Hare Krishna. It's calling on the Lord. O Lord, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. And once that happens, once you start to serve the Lord, then all sorts of things happen. So what happens is the way to serve the Lord is in the association of other people who are doing it. It's like anything. If you want to be a millionaire, or you want money, you're better off to hang out with people who are millionaires and who've got money. So if you want a spiritual life, then you need to be with other people, like-minded people, other devotees. So that's why I was mentioning about Vanu Maharaj, who's coming here on the 12th, Hare Krishna, who's coming here on the 12th of September. He'll be here for one night only. because he is the sort of personality that can direct you. He's a guru himself. He has disciples here in Wangara. So he's a guru himself, and he's coming here. And he's an amazing personality. I met him last year when he came. Such a nice personality. Bengali sort of nice. So that sort of personality can direct you on the path of spiritual life. They call it a path, and because that is how to get out of this forest. They call this samsara a forest, like a forest fire. So to get out of this forest fire, we need someone who knows the way. So he knows the way, and it's talked about here in the Bhagavad Gita. These scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita, these scriptures, these will give you all the information you need too, but you need a personality who can answer your questions. Bhagavad Gita won't answer your questions. It's a book. It's a dormant knowledge is in this book. You can't tell it. If we don't understand something, it's not going to explain to us. But if we don't understand something, the devotees, they will explain it to you. So, no, samsara is not limited to any amount of births and deaths. Samsara is limited to consciousness. If we purify our consciousness, then we can go back home anytime. And it's like this verse says, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activity does not, upon leaving the body, take birth again in this material world, but obtains my eternal abode, Arjuna. He's talking to Arjuna. This is Krishna saying this. He's talking to Arjuna. He's saying that, well, look, if you know this, if you really know it and understand it, you won't have to take birth again. You can come, and that spiritual world is eternal. Once you go there, you won't have to come back here again. So he says so many things, and just in this part of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives so many instructions. He says, in order, whenever there's decline of religion and uprising of religion, I make my event to set things right. I appear age after age to rescue the saintly devotees and banish the miscreants. And then that verse we just read, and then he says, being freed from attachment, fear and anger, many persons have taken shelter of me in the past. And then he says, this is a good one. All of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Papa. So, Krishna is God. God can do anything. God created everything, his body is everything. We're coming from God. The spirit soul is part and parcel of God. Everything is a manifestation, distinct and non-distinct from Krishna. So he's saying, if you surrender to me, I'll look after you. Especially in chapter 18 in this, like it's a grand clarion call, and the last instruction of this Bhagavad Gita is Savadam Pracha Mamakam Salavam Raj Aham Svam Papembriya Mokshami Masuchaha. Say, give up all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I'll protect you from all sinful activity. Do not fear, Masuchaha. Do not fear, I'll protect you. So he's saying, give up all religious activity. Wow, that religion. If I give up all religious activity, where will I be? But this Swadharma is talking about religious activity, particularly Varnashram Dham, which is a division of society. But in this age of Kali, nothing is divided, nothing is organised, everything's a bit chaotic. So we have to find our own way, carefully find our own way, because we can be cheated also. There's a possibility of being cheated when one is searching for spiritual life. You mightn't get the full deal. You might end up with the Mayavadis who, after merging into the white light or merging into the Brahmajyoti. And this is a partial representation of Krishna. It's not full, it's partial. You think, oh, well, that'll be okay. Many people want that. It's not so easy in this age actually, because it's not the religious It's not the religious process for this age. Other ages it was. Not this age. This age, the religious process is chant Hare Krishna. In some ways, this Kali Yuga is the most difficult of all ages, but it is the best age to be in because the process is quite easy. There's a chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But the kicker is under the guidance of a devotee, of a good devotee, of a spiritual master, somebody who has elevated consciousness, somebody who is very pure. They call them pure devotees, they call them Vaishnavas. These personalities, they can direct you in Krishna consciousness. They can give you all the information that you need. But Lord Chaitanya, when he came 500 years ago, he stressed chanting Hare Krishna and associating with devotees. He said, all I want is to chant Hare Krishna, but in the association of devotees, of like-minded people. So the example is given, if you have one stick, one twig, you can break it. But if you have a whole bundle of them together, difficult to break. So this is what it is. Out by myself, I don't really have much of a chance, because I'm only a minute spirit soul. I'm blown around by the waves of the material environment here, there and everywhere. But if I'm with other devotees and there's somebody go, hey, this way, come this way, don't go that way, come this way. So this is what we need. We need association. This is the main thing. And of course, we have in Whangarei, we have this little temple here, and there's not so many of us here tonight because of various reasons. But there are devotees around. Some of them were sick, some of them were tired, some of them. There are devotees around too. And there are some festivals coming up where there'll be a lot of devotees who will be coming here. And especially when Maharaj comes, there'll be a lot of devotees here. So association is the main thing. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, my Param Guru Dave, he said association is 99% of the process. So, without association, you're at 1%. We need to Sevamukhi Chivadao, we need to learn service. We need to learn to serve the Lord. And that's only done with the association of devotees. Probably going to wrap it up there, but thanks for that question. What's your name?
Victoria. Victoria.
Sodia.
Victoria.
Victoria. Good name. Thanks for that question. Have you got any more questions?
How long will last Kali Yuga more?
Okay, well, we're only 5,000 years into this Kali Yuga. It's only just started. So 130,000 years, it's a long time.
100? So
Yeah, we're only just starting. And you can see now this age is starting to get a bit degraded now, 5,000 years into it, starting to get a bit degraded now. And in this age, people are short-lived, short memories, always disturbed. We can see it around us. As this age carries on, the lifespan will get even shorter and shorter. By the end of Kali Yuga, if someone lives to be 20 or 30, they'll be considered extremely old, not really old. It is some horrendous predictions for later on in this age, all coming in our scriptures and Srimad Bhagavatam.
sorry, how many thousand years?
So there's 132,000, 127,000 left.
I heard close to 500,000, between 400,000 to 500,000.
No, it's a long time.
Yeah,
It's a long time.
500,000.
yeah. When it's close to the end, maybe the age of the human may be 6 years or something.
At the end of this age, it won't be very nice, and we won't want to be here because
It's going to be worse and worse.
it's going to get worse. Yeah, it's starting to pick up now. I mean, we've seen in the last 5 or 10 years things.
Yeah.
Kali Yuga's kicked in a bit. But, it's only the beginning. And the lifespan will get very short. And, yeah, there's some horrendous predictions. So yeah, it's a long time, Victoria, before the end of this age. So it's recommended that we try to get out of here before the end of it. At the end of this age, people will be so degraded. This movement, this Hare Krishna movement, will go for another 10,000 years. After that, there won't really be any devotees around, and things will go down very quickly. By the end of this age, people will be so degraded. Have you heard of Kalki? Kalki is the avatar. Kalki, the Christians even know about Kalki. He's the avatar of the Lord, and he comes and he kills people, kills everyone because he's the only one. And then at the end of this age, many things happen at the end of this age, and then Satyuga begins again, which is a golden age. And then the cycle begins again, like after spring, summer,
It means
autumn.
kill everyone. So it's like in flood, like in Bible written that was flood and everybody was distinguished.
Yeah, the
It will be
Christian
something
sword.
like very
There's
similar.
Kalki riding a white horse with a sword. There's Kalki, and the Christians know about that. They talk about that. Christianity has some things in common with Vaishnavism, actually.
Like apocalypse, so like last day apocalypse, like
Yeah, it's that sort of thing. Like, yeah.
Similar.
It's horrendous.
And after that
But-
humankind we will be changed. After that will be another humankind.
After this Kali Yuga, then the cycle begins again, but then the golden age. And in the Satya Yuga, everybody is 100% God conscious. And then Treta Yuga, everybody's 75% God conscious. Dwapara Yuga, everybody's like 50%. Kali Yuga, beginning between maybe 25%, gradually nothing. Dwindling away, nothing. Yeah, there's some cheating religions called Kaitavadam, cheating religions will be here. But,
I understand what does it mean unconscious. We are more animalistic, like monkeys, and just like more
Yeah.
about biological things to deal
Yeah.
to worry, and not conscious. I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. Well, the difference between animals and people is what? I mean, we're all eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. These are the four principal activities of any living entity: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And if a human being is not interested in God consciousness, then Prabhupada said they're just a royal addition to the animal kingdom. Not interested in God consciously, I'm just interested in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. That's what I want to do. Well, you may as well just be an animal, because that's what they do. But a human, animals can't really become God conscious. They don't sit around and discuss, what's happening with the Bhagavad Gita. They don't do that. Human beings can do that. Human beings have something more than animals. Human beings have a more powerful brain, a stronger intelligence, where they can discuss, study, and practice this God consciousness, this Krishna consciousness, can be practiced in the human form of life, not in the animal form of life. Of course, there are stories of animals in our scriptures who have achieved liberation for different reasons, but very, very, very rare. It's the exception, not the rule. So the human form of life is meant for God consciousness. It really is. This is why we have this human body. And there's 8,400,000 species of life. And we have been through all of these, beginning with the aquatics in the ocean, to the vegetation, to reptiles, and gradually work their way up to a cow, tiger, or the other one is a monkey, which their next birth will be a human in different modes. Like a cow will take birth as a human in the mode of goodness, a monkey will take birth as a human in the mode of passion, and a tiger will take birth as a human in the mode of ignorance. But, we definitely, and just because we have a human form, doesn't mean to say our next birth won't be that of an animal. It's possible, and if somebody is in a human body and living like an animal, in the next life, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what one is thinking about at the time of death, or what one's consciousness is on at the time of death, that state they will attain, without doubt. Right? So if somebody's lying on their deathbed thinking about their pet dog, there's a good chance they'll go and take birth as a dog. And the dog is 1,000,000 births away from a human being. I mean, some people say, oh, great, love to be a dog. You know, dogs in the West, good karma. Go to India and see how the dogs are living over there.
Yeah, that's true.
Hard life for a dog in Calcutta. This is this is actually a great chance, a great opportunity we've been given. We don't know and we can't tell what we've done in our past lives. But we must have some security, which is eternal benefit, which comes from some sort of association with God, God's devotees, some sort of activity that's related to that. We get this thing called security, which can't be taken. It's like a bank account. You can't take money out of it. It just stays there and builds up till it gets to a certain point. And once the security gets to a certain level, then all these things start happening. Like you meet a devotee, you get a book, you read a book, you're not chanting Hare Krishna, things like that. So, this is what's happening. So I'm going to leave it there unless somebody has any more questions about that. But like I was saying before, Janmashtami is only 2 weeks away. Not yet, 2 weeks away. And there's a big festival here on the 4th, is it the 4th or the 5th?
Fifth
Saturday.
Saturday, so 2 weeks, Saturday and Sunday is two days. So in 2 weeks' time, there's a big festival. This is like the biggest festival of the year. So it'll be here on the 5th. It goes till midnight, and there'll be a lot of people. Do you live close by, Victoria?
Hmm?
Do you live close by? Do you live around?
Yes, close.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
thank you.
Pop along.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so what's the program now for them?
You want to do Arctic?
Well, PD might be able to do artists.
You go to Kirtan?
We'll leave the kid on. Woody is our kirtan leader and he's not here today. It's very purifying. And even if we just chant in our mind, chanting, it's recommended to chant so you can hear, but you can walk around and be chanting in your mind, be chanting and sing it. You can sing it, you can whisper it, you can talk it. With Krishna, everything to do with Krishna is purifying. But we can't tell in the beginning how we're being purified, but we are. It's a slow process. It doesn't happen overnight. But you can tell, you can get a taste, you can get a feeling for it. Especially when you get with a lot of people and you start chanting Hare Krishna, you can really get a feeling for it. Okay? So I thank you all very much.
Hey,